Hiya! I think we're live now, so hopefully this doesn't crash or my phone doesn't fall to the floor, which would be nice. So today we are going to talk about woven wraps, which is definitely one of my favorite topics to talk about. So we'll start in a minute or so, waiting for people to join us, and I'll just get talking. So wraps are really wonderful, so I'm just really excited to be chatting about that today. I've got loads of wraps, as you can see them in the background, so I won't be going through all of them because I've just got too many, but I'll just be giving you some info, how to choose a wrap, differences between them, and then I'll do some wrapping demos as well. The demos are just for demoing today. If you want like full tutorials, please go to my YouTube channel where I'll do full tutorials. If you need some help, just drop me a message anytime. And if you need help to find one, also drop me a message because I can help you with that. It's a little bit complicated sometimes finding a wrap that's going to work for you or know where to look. So really don't hesitate, get in touch. I'll be more than happy to help. Okay, so I'm going to get chatting about differences between wraps. So they come in lots of different lengths and sizes. That's one of the first things you need to decide on is what do you want to achieve with your wrap. You need to think about your size and the amount of length you're gonna need. Okay, so there's like a rough guide as to what size to buy. It's a bit complex, but let me try to explain. So we talk about base size. So the base size is the length or size that you're gonna need to do a front wrap cross carry, which is a very simple front carry, and being able to tie at the back without having like really long tails. Okay, so for me my base size is 5, so I can do this carry, tie on the back. I've got a little bit of length left, and I'm a size 8 to 10 roughly, changes sometimes, so that works for me. I quite like to have very long wraps because I like to be able to tie my front wrap cross carry on the front and have a little bit of length. So I would often go for a size 7. I could just about tie a size 6 on my front. For most people, a size 6 is a base size, is a size that's going to work, but you need to think a little bit about how you want to use it and what kind of carries you want to do. The more fancy carries you want to do, sometimes the more length you're going to need, depending on like also how many layers you want to wrap in. So if you want to wrap in like 2 or 3 layers, you might need a little bit more length. So it's about maybe trying different sizes and see what works for you. So that's for length, and they come in about 10 sizes, so size 1 to size 10. Size 8, 9, 10 are quite rare, so it's very difficult to find, but you might be able to dig around. You may be able to find them. Size 1 wrap, I have one. It's really handy to do like a hip carry, something like that. You can't really do much more than that. So usually you would find the wraps made in cut from size 2 to 7. That is just the most likely sizes you're gonna find. So a size 2 wrap, show you the length to give you an idea. This is a OSHA wrap, and this is a size 2. And for me, as a size 8 person, I can do a couple of carries. I can do like short carries where I would like front carry and then tie on my shoulder, do a slip knot, or do like a short hip carry. I don't think I would be able to do a back carry with it. I don't think I can do a rock, or I could maybe do it but tie under the bum, so that would be really short. Advantages of short wraps is that you don't have a lot of length. They are particularly handy for toddlers, believe it or not, because if they want to always go up and down, you can have just a short wrap in your bag. You can do like a short hip carry, something like that. Even a short back carry is totally feasible. So that's what's really nice. They don't feel so heavy. You don't feel like you've got so much fabric around you. So this is a size 2. A size 7. be much longer, so I'm going to show you one. So got quite a few of them because they're my favorite length. So this is a size 7. This is a woven bliss, really gorgeous wrap. So this is how much length we're talking about, so it's quite a lot. Don't be put off by the length. If it's something I can advise you, don't worry about it, don't think about it. If you find yourself you have to wrap outside a lot, then I would say definitely maybe go for a shorter wrap and do shorter carries. But yeah, with this I can do so much. I can put 2 kids in it. I can do some very fancy back carries, lots of fancy finishes and stuff like that. It opens the door to do a lot of carries. It's not ideal for like a quick short carry because you'll end up with a lot of tails. So what is sometimes quite handy job is have a long wrap and a short wrap, and then the world is your oyster. You can do lots. So that's length. Thicknesses is another thing. They come in lots of different thicknesses, and then we kind of categorize them in different categories. So thin, medium thin wrap would be this wrap is quite thin, so cotton, and you can tell how thick they are by holding them in your hand like this. Okay, so here I still got lots of room in my hands, so it's quite a thin wrap. This is more like a medium, going towards medium thick, so you can see the difference. It's a lot thicker. I've got a very thick wrap as well. This is more like toddler worthy, yeah. This is extremely heavy wrap, and it's around the 420 grams per square meter. So if you know a bit about wraps, you'll know this is extremely thick. So this is really quite thick, yeah. When we talk about thicknesses, we talk about them in gram per square meter. So that will give you the weight of it and how heavy it feels in hand. You can wrap big babies in thin wraps, is totally fine. What you might want to do is do like a multi-layer carry, so 2 or 3 layers, so you feel supported. You might find it's difficult to wrap a newborn in a very thick wrap because you want to make sure you don't have too much thick tight fabric around the knees. But again, you can just go off and buy just one wrap, and you can make adjustments by removing fabric from the knees, tying differently and all that. What I recommend for most people is to go for a medium thickness kind of wrap, so like 220, 240, 60, something like that gram per square meter is a good thickness that's going to last you from newborn until toddlerhood, and that usually is fine, is quite supportive. Thicker wrap can feel hotter, obviously, because you've got a lot more density in there. But what you might want to do is just wrap in single layer so you don't feel as hot. In the summer, if you want to have very thin wraps, you can go for gauze wraps like the Calambele. Gauze wraps are really amazing, super lightweight and very long lasting. Or you can go for different blends and fibres. So I'm going to talk about fibres now. So most commonly, wrap have got cotton in them. They're either made of 100% cotton, different types of cotton. So you've got like cheap cottons, which make them quite cheap wraps. You've got organic cotton, you've got Egyptian, you've got comb cotton, you've got loads of different style. Then you've got other fibers like linen. Linen is quite a good one for breathability, so it doesn't feel so hot when you wrap, so it's great for the summer, but all year round likewise. And then you've got loads of different fibers, so like bamboo, it's a really nice one, especially for newborns because it glides and it's breathable. Silk, you've got loads of different types of silk. You've got things like hemp. This one has got hemp, that's why it's quite thick. There's all different types of seaweeds, like banana leaves fibers, and tencel, so if you want like glitter in it. It goes on and on and on and on, the different types of fibers that you can have, and wrap makers come up with new ones really often. So fibers is very personal, it's what you like. Like things like hemp can be very difficult to break into, so you can buy a wrap and it feels a bit like cardboard. You need to like use it and break into it to make it softer. It's very personal. What I would say in terms of like buying a wrap and going for something that is safe is just go for 100% cotton. It's gonna work for you. Cotton and bamboo, then it's usually fine as well. They're not like, there's not a lot of them, but 100% cotton is fine. It will work for every age, it will work for every purpose, and it's very nice and breathable. So like different fibers give the wrap different qualities. So if you're gonna have like silk in it, it's gonna make it really soft, slippery. So which means that when you pull your fabric, it comes really easily. Slippery wraps sometimes need to be retightened a little bit from time to time because they're slippery, obviously. Things like linen can make them quite grippy, so it means that when you wrap, it really stays in place, and they don't sometimes feel as soft, but it really varies, because if you've got a good linen blend, with time it becomes like buttery soft. So it really depends on the quality of the fibers and the quality of the wrap. What else? I'm just thinking, just so many different type of qualities to wrap. Some can feel what we say cushy, so like something like this is a puffy weave, so which means that you've got a lot of cush, so it feels really nice and comfortable on your shoulders. Some are just more flat, so it just like molds to your body really nice. It's a minefield. Like I could talk on and on and on about it. You can't really tell how wrap is gonna feel until you have it and you're wrapping with it. What you could do is read reviews. So like I do that sometimes. I organize like wrap tours and like test them, and then I write reviews, and then it goes to another person and so on, and then we share our experience of it. And you just have to see. Unfortunately, there's not really like a way to say, is this gonna really work for me? Am I gonna like it? You just have to try. Really, that is the thing. If you stay safe, stay with cotton, stay with a medium thickness, then usually you're good to go. It's quite rare that wraps are just not comfortable, to be honest. Like even very cheap wraps usually feel totally fine. I would say don't buy like the cheapest thing ever that you can find. Definitely not, but likewise don't spend hundreds of pounds, because sometimes you might just, I bought some wraps that were so expensive, but I don't really like them that much. So really it really varies. So yeah, that is roughly what I'm going to talk about in terms of like the wraps and what they're like and differences between them. Now the biggest difference is the price. Okay, so let's just be clear about this. It really vary enormously. Okay, you could buy a really good wrap new around 50-60 quid, and then you can go into the hundreds, and like really into the hundreds. Hand woven wraps, so like wraps that are made on an old style a machine that is made by one person. They're usually very expensive because obviously takes a long time to make them. Those that are machine woven are usually a bit cheaper, but again within the machine woven ones it can really go into hundreds of pounds. And this will very much depends on the quality of the fibers and all sorts of things, and just the brand as well. I know, like, I don't really want to start naming brands, but there are brands who they're just about marketing and getting celebrities to have them and so on. It doesn't mean they're the best wraps or that you're gonna really like their wrap. So it doesn't mean that. I would say with wrap, buy secondhand, because not only are they going to be broken into if they were a bit stiff and like kind of like cheap quality, so you don't have to do the breaking into and they'll come nice and soft, but also they don't really lose their qualities. They don't start bubbling. Like if there's damage, you should know about this, like the person should tell you, and then if there's damage that means that it could rip, then you should never be selling your wrap or buying one. But they usually are totally fine. Secondhand is, I find this the best way to buy. If you want to buy new, you can either go onto the websites of the different wrap companies, or you can stalk them. So like go on their Facebook pages and see what they're releasing when, and buy from there. So if you want to buy new, there's lots of different ways and things to do it. Either you keep stalking the Facebook page and see when they release the wrap. You can pre-order them. Sometimes when they release a wrap, it's just only going to be one color, and there's going to be only like 10 of them, or a bit more depending on how much they've weaved. So sometimes you can, what we say, score a wrap. So you score it, which means that you have the right to buy it, and then you've got like an hour to pay your invoice. If you don't, then it's gone again. So if you're like stalking a company that's based on the other side of the world, you've got to get up in the middle of the night and then stalk, and then just try to get the wrap. It's extremely geeky, okay? I just have to be clear about this. Like wrap groups and like chatter group for particular wrap companies are very geeky. They use a lot of jargon, they use a lot of abbreviation. Even sometimes I can't keep up, and I'm like quite obsessed. It can feel like a cliquey world a little bit, okay? And I really don't like this aspect of that. If I'm posting something in a group, I won't use abbreviation. I'll just make everything clear, because I think it should be accessible for everybody. It shouldn't be just for a certain type of people who really know about wraps and stuff. It should be for everybody. Wovens are just amazing. So if you're struggling, ask somebody who's knowledgeable. I'm always happy to help you find wraps and stuff. Right, now you're going to say, how do I choose or find a wrap? I find the best way to do it is to join a few Babywearing for sale or trade groups. So there's loads, and they've got like thousands of members. You just do a search in Facebook for slings, Babywearing, and you see there's loads of groups. Join a few, and then put an ISO in search of woven wrap. This is the size I want. I don't like these colors. I want 100% cotton, or I'm open to different types of blends. I want a medium thickness, or I want a very thick one, and so on. You can put your specifications, and then people will start commenting, because when somebody wants to sell a wrap, it's because they need the money, because they've seen another wrap again. or they've got bills to pay. So see what people are selling, and don't hesitate to negotiate prices. Ask if there's any pulls, so like any fibres that have been pulled out, which doesn't damage the wrap. It's just that it needs fixing, which is not very difficult to do. If there's any stains, anything like this, and see what people are selling, because that can really give you an idea of what you can get for your money. Set a budget. Sometimes that helps. Say, okay, I don't want to spend more than £50, £60. If you have more money, that's fine. Or don't set a budget and see what people are selling. And yeah, do that in a few groups and see what people are selling. Don't hesitate to negotiate the price, and do your transaction via PayPal, because it's safer. And then also talk about postage and how you're going to insure it and so on. There's a couple of databases as well for woven wrap. So Slingofest is pretty much up to date. So if you type Slingofest into Google, then you can search for a wrap by different variables. So what you could do is, for instance, search by brand, or search by colors or patterns or stuff. You can search by date released. So a way to do is put your baby's date of birth in that, and then see what wraps were released in that. And some people call that buying a legacy wrap. So it would be the wrap that was released on their baby's birthday. I've got a couple of those that I got for my son's birthday. It doesn't have to be a birthday. It might just be like your first wrap, something that you're going to keep forever, you're going to pass on to your children, or you're going to transform into something else. It's called the legacy wrap. So for my second, for Sebastian, I don't have one that I bought that was released on his birthday, but I got this one when I was pregnant with him as a birthday present, and this is the first wrap I wrapped him in. It's a low volume, and that's my legacy wrap. I will never sell it. I can't do it. It's just so precious to me. And then for my other son, I've managed to find 2 wraps that were released on his birthday that I really like. So I've digged around a bit and I found them. Okay, so now let's do some wrapping. Okay, so I'm going to show you the first carry that I teach people when they come to me and they want to try a wrap. It's called the front wrap cross carry. And I'm going to do it with a size 7 because I like to tie on my front. But again, don't worry about the fabric, the amount of length and so on. So I'm going to grab a baby. Baby's ready to be wrapped. So I've got like about 3 months old baby. That works for newborns. I'm going to carry my 3-year-old today and I'm going to carry him like that because I like to see him and talk to him and cuddle him. So you will start with your label. That's called the middle marker. You place it on your chest. And if you have wrapped with a stretchy wrap, we start the same way. So we gather the fabric and we go to the back and we cross. And here really make sure you don't twist, okay? Your fabric's got to be nice and flat. Because if it's twisted, you can't tighten it. It's very difficult and uncomfortable. So we make sure the fabric is nice and flat on our back. And I'm going to bring the fabric to your neck. So woven wraps don't stretch like stretchy wraps, okay? So which means that it's a bit tricky to take your baby out and put your baby straight back in. You will need to redo your carry. They do have a little bit of diagonal give like that, so it's nice and cushy and it works quite well like this. I'm going to leave just in a room in my pocket pass here, and I'm going to grab the pass that's on top of my shoulders, pin it between my knees for safety. I'm going to bring my baby on my shoulder, support baby, and I'm going to bring him through like this, sit him down. I want the bum lower than the knees like I do with any other sling, and my baby close enough to kiss so I can see the airways. I'm going to grab my top rail, so this is called the top rail. Sorry. Sorry, my husband cooked chili this morning, it's just stupid. Bring the top rail to the neck and gather it. We don't want it to be digging into the neck, okay? Gather, this is called the bottom rail, so top rail, bottom rail, middle rail. This is how we talk about them. You can talk to them about in parts or in hems or whatever works for you. You want the fabric kind of gathered behind the knees and your baby to sit in a really nice deep sit with the bum lower down the knees, okay? Right, now I'm going to tighten. The tightening and the keeping the tension is something, it takes practice, okay? There's no secret. You've got to practice, it will come with practice. This wrap is medium thick. It's extremely soft. I think it's got silk in it. I can't remember. I'm going to tell you that now because it says in the label. So it's got Egyptian cotton, silk, bamboo and viscose, and it's so soft and cushy. I love it. It's like dreaming, like wrapping a dream. I'm going to grab the top rail. I'm going to pull the same way the fabric comes. Okay, like that. Give yourself a stretch at the same time. Bring your fabric across the back and hold it. So see, I'm still pulling it, okay? If you let go, then it's loose again. So you need to keep pulling it. Then we're going to tighten the middle rail. So everything in the middle, it's got to be really nice and tight. Pull the fabric strain by strain, like that. Give a good pull, go for it. I'm going to pull the bottom rail to secure the seat, but not too tight because I don't want to dig into my baby's knees. Keep the tension, and I'm going to say keep the tension loads of times, okay? Keep the tension, pin between your knees. I'm going to do the same on the other side. You can pull strain by strain. You shouldn't have to do too much pulling here because you've already removed all the slack. If you're in a rush, it's okay to just grab and go, okay, quick, let's go. And that's it. Grab both tails. Give a last bit of wriggle, so your baby should feel nice and close to you. And then here, I'm going to cross. I'm going to go under the knees. Now, if I have a newborn and the wrap is very thick like this one, I'm going to twist the fabric once or twice. So this way, I remove any fabric from the knees and it's nice and comfortable. For this one, I don't really need to. Make sure it's quite nice and flat and you're not pushing the hips apart or anything. Now, depending on the length, if this is your base size, you can double knot on your back with short tail. For me, it's my base size +2, so it's a 7 instead of a 5. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to tie here. Because I like to tie on my front, I find it a lot more comfortable. Make your knot as flat as possible. And you can stay like that, this is a 1 layer carry, or we can spread the passes. So you can twist the fabric if you want and spread like that and like that. Again, depending on which side of the wrap you want to show, if you want to twist, you must start with the wrong side and showing. Have a think about how you want it to look, because it's about looks a little bit, wraps, I have to say. And there you go, super nice and comfy. I can just carry like that for hours, it's totally fine. If I want to feed in it, I totally can. I need to make a little bit of slack like that, and I'm gonna bring my slack to my front. It takes a little bit of learning and getting the hang of this. I have done this 1,000 times and it's totally feasible. So basically you make your wrap loose and you start to bring your baby down like this until you reach boob height. If you're bottle feeding, you just want to lower a little bit. But it's totally feasible. When you're done, you're just gonna guide your slack back to your knot, and then you're just gonna retighten, and that's it. This is the front wrap cross carry. There's loads and loads of different ways to wrap on the front. I'm not going to do that in this live. If you want to see different ways to wrap, go to my YouTube channel. I can send you links. I'm going to show you a back carry because it's quite fun to see what it looks like. I'm going to show you a double hammock because it's a really nice and comfy way to wrap and I really love it. And if you want to learn, again, drop me a message or go to your nearest sling librarian. It takes a little bit of learning going on the back. Back carrying with wraps, it's okay to do before they have full head control, but you need to be really experienced and know what you're doing because you need to be able to always monitor your baby, and it's very, very important. I've back carried my babies around the time they were 2 months old because it's safe to do in a woven. In a buckle carrier, not so much, so wovens are fine for that. But again, you need to really make sure you can monitor the face, it's very, very important. Okay, so I'm going to take my arm out, like that, and like that. And I'm going to lift my baby out. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to take a bigger baby to demo a double hammock on the back because it's easier to demo that way. So let me grab. I keep all my babies tucked away in boxes. It's very handy. Okay, so double hammock. It's got 2 layers. That's why it's called double. And I like it because it's very supportive, and I use my chest to carry as well because not a fan of having too much shoulder. Too much weight on my shoulder, although you do use your whole body when you use woven wrap. So I'm gonna start what we call off center. So when you start on center, you always start with your middle marker on your front or on your back. If you start off center, you start on an arm's length, or you can see where it ends on your back. So this is my new middle. And I'm gonna Superman toss, so that's another word for you. I'm gonna Superman toss my baby, okay? So means I'm gonna bring him on my back with the wrap around his shoulders. So I'm gonna bring the wrap on the shoulders. I'm gonna put my hands in a gun shape like that, and then I'm gonna support my baby. So my baby is well supported, and this is what the Superman toss is. Yeah, it looks like Superman. Okay, from here, I'm going to secure my wrap by either biting my top rails or I can pin it under my neck. Okay, for the purposes of this live, I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to go to my back and I'm going to create a seat. To create a good seat, you want to gather the fabric at the bottom rail like that, and then bring it a little bit under and let your baby's bum lower down the knees. I'm going to pin my tails. I'm going to pin the short tail between my knees like this, and then I'm going to tighten it a little bit first. So pull the fabric. I like to sandwich, so I bring my bottom rail near my neck, pull my top rail, so I secure the head, again not too tight, and my middle rail I make it really nice and tight so that will support my baby. Keep your tension, and I'm going to create what we call a chest pass. So that's my long tail. Remember, I'm off center, so I've got one side longer than the other. I'm going to bring this around my chest. So I'm going to keep my tension, bring my arm around quickly, and here I'm going to guide my slack, pull really nice and hard like this. Really don't hesitate to pull with woven wrap. It's very difficult to over tighten, but you need to make it tight, otherwise it won't be comfortable. I'm going to bring this across my baby's knee, and then I'm going to grab my top rail and bring it across the back like that. So now I've got my second layer like that. Give a good pull, come back to my front. Again, I'm going to sandwich because I like to do it like this. You don't have to. I'm going to retighten, make sure it's really nice and tight. There you go. Pin, I'm going to retighten my short tail a little bit again. Okay, and now I'm going to do, it's called a half salt water finish. Again, don't ask, I don't know how this came about. There's lots of different ways to finish your carry, so like fancy things and stuff. I like to do it like this because it stays on my shoulder and I find it comfortable. You can go over the knees and tie here. If it's long enough, you can come back and you can tie at your front, which I quite like to do. If you don't have enough length, you can use sling rings. I'm going to show you what they look like. So sling rings is the same thing that you find on your ring slings, okay? Different sizes depending on the size of your, depending on the thickness of your wrap. So this is a medium size, this is an L, and this is an XL, okay? So I think for this wrap, I can get away with just having a size M. If it's too much fabric and I can't bring it through, then I will take a bigger ring, sorry. So I'm just going to bring the fabric through like that. That makes the hole. And I'm going to grab the other tail and bring it through. And really pull this tail so it's nice and tight. And to secure it in place, I'm just going to tighten my little loop here. And there you go. I don't need to knot. This is held in place. It's safe and secure. And there you go. I've got my baby in a double hammock, salt water finish, closed with a sling ring. Ta-da! I know it looks complicated when I'm doing it. It really isn't. Once you get the hang of it, it takes a little bit of practice. That is true. There's no secret. You've got to practice with woven wraps. It will come. There's quite a few things to remember. Getting the seat nice and low, so like your baby's bum nice and low. Making sure you keep your tension and it's tight. It will click. At one point you'll be like, okay, this is how it works. You'll learn how your fabric works. And then you'll get the hang of it very quickly. Don't despair, it will come. It's totally feasible. I told loads of people it is totally feasible. You take my baby out, and I think I'm going to take some questions. If you have any questions now, post them here. If you're watching this on IGTV or replay, whatever, put them in the comments, drop me a message. Always happy to answer. And give woven wraps a go. Really give them a go. It's like, just hire one for me or your local sling library. You won't regret it. If you don't like them, it's okay. But at least you've tried and you feel the comfort, the differences it brings you from a buckle carrier. It fits you and your baby and your body 100%. There's no like clips and things in a way. It really molds to your body and it's just so incredibly comfortable. Full disclosure, they're very addictive, yeah? So you can probably see my small collection here. Still, it's not all of them, because loads of them on hire or with friends, because I have no space to fit them anymore. Once you go down the rabbit hole, it's hard to get out. So just buy one. Just one is enough. Cotton, medium thickness. Don't go crazy. But in my defense, I have a really rubbish car, so I didn't spend much money on a car because I spend money on wraps. It's terrible. I have collected them over 6 years. Okay, so just before you start to criticize. Okay, so I don't think we have any questions, so I'm gonna go. Drop me a message anytime, and thank you very much for watching. Bye.